Fortnite has released 27 different shotguns since its release, but what is the worst shotgun in Fortnite history? Well, I'm going to rank every single one of them to find out which ones
the low grab double barrel,
which ones would create the perfect meta. All right, the OG pump.
Okay, so
let's be real.
Okay, so we're judging them. The perfect meta means we're judging them on like balanced. Like, I think is the metric of bad going to be like broken or actually suck?
Shotgun and probably like the Scar or the regular assault rifle. I'm not going to tease this. This is an S tier gun. Think about when you load into a random creative map. If you go into like a 1v1, a red versus blue map, whatever it is, and you always see like the random newbie skins, whoever they may be, jumping in. They always carry a gold pump. Despite all the other shotgun variations there, it stood the test of time. And if it was to be put back into the current meta, back in OG, they actually removed the damage cap from this. So a gold could do a 203 headshot damage. So the one pump's still in. I mean, the real question is there going to be any other shotguns that can beat this at the top of the tier? Second, its counterpart, the tactical shotgun. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a fan of the tactical shotgun. I think in the lower rarities, it's very, very well balanced. It is possible to two-shot someone if you shoot them in the head or in the kind of upper chest area. And it feels like a very well-balanced gun. Now, the big issue I have with the tactical shotgun in terms of balance is the purple and gold variant.
So strong.
They're just kind of like stupid weapons, I'll be totally honest with you. The purple deals 75 structure damage, whereas
really
the gold
good for piece
does
control.
79. So what players ended up doing with this was just looking at a wall. If there's a player on the other side of it, they just pre-fire, damage the wall. That means if the player edits, they'll get hit. If they don't edit, then they damage the wall the same amount as a pickaxe would. So you can just stand there, shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot, reload.
True.
And for that, I don't believe the tactical shotgun is actually very well balanced at all. So I'm going to put it down into C tier. Without the gold and the purple.
Okay, so we're basing broken off. So wait, balance. So we're going off balancing. We're not going off power. So we're going off like, so S is like the most balanced, good but fair, and F is going to be like really OP then.
I'd probably put this into A tier because I think it's a really, really good shotgun outside of that. Next up is the heavy shotgun. Now, I hate the heavy shotgun with a deep burning desire. I feel like this was a gun that when it was first introduced, the idea of it is this is a slightly more longer range shotgun.
Nope,
we have
that's what you should do, the range of shotgun.
Coming. This was kind of the first iteration of a shotgun that was longer range, meant to deal higher damage at that range. However, I just feel like it seemed always incredibly inconsistent.
Yep.
At the time when it was released, it
the
could
most
do over 200
inconsistent
damage
shotgun.
to the headshot. Yeah, it just never seemed.
Excuse me, what the did I just see the number I thought I just saw?
Seemed always incredibly inconsistent. At the time when it was released, it could do over 200 damage to the headshot.
This did 302 damage? Hello? When could we hit people for 300? Oh my god, early Fortnite, the guns were just so OP. Man, we must have really fucking sucked, eh? Like, how are we not just rolling through everyone? We really fucking sucked in the early days of Fortnite. Like, scars were hitting for like 90 headshots every time. Like, shotguns were hitting for over 300. Like, we just sucked.
Yeah, it just never seemed to. And it seemed to be the most consistent shotgun at hitting like 20s, 30s, maybe the occasional 40 and 50 if you were really lucky there. And I've always had this deep burning hatred for it ever since. For me, I think this is an A tier gun because it ends up being very well balanced. I like the gunplay that you end up having with it, but that inconsistency takes it out of S tier for me. The other variation, of course, is the single pellet. I can't even speak. The single pellet variation that ended up being added in. And for me, this is kind of an interesting weapon to be put into the game because holding down ADS means it's 100% accurate with a single bullet. Which can deal massive damage. So it's very high skilled. But if you hit fire, it's kind of just RNG where that single bullet is going to land within the crosshair. I don't particularly like RNG weapons like that at all. If it was 100% accurate, that might be really, really cool. But to be honest, it's just too RNG. It's too luck-based. Yeah. And if not, you just have to sit in ADS, which is just very clunky and just kind of slow. Look at that. How'd that shot miss? The single shot, I'm putting that down in D tier. Yeah. Shout out to the heisted breacher shotgun, which was the exotic version of this. So broken. Dealt 185 structure damage in that single shot, which was insanely broken. I have vivid memories, and not memories, let's be real, they were actually just nightmares of people using this against me, replacing my wall every single time. We're currently in the Nitro season where everyone can just run through and break every build. So I actually think maybe the heisted breacher shotgun would be perfect for this meta. It's already bad enough. Just chuck this in as well. I need to tweet that. Hold on. All right, next up, we have the double barrel shotgun. Now, I'm going to be controversial here and say this is completely awful. Now, if you're in someone's face in their box, it has the capability abilities for you to be able to two-shot them almost instantly. The max body shot
Me and
damage
Reese agree on like almost all of our takes in the history of Fortnite, but I think today might be where we're going to disagree. He's going to put the Dragon Breath in like F, and I'm going to unsubscribe and never watch another Reisshub video ever again. Just heads up.
This is 114 with the epic variation and 120
because I love the double
gold,
barrel.
and you can just hit 2 max body shots and you'll just be able to wipe someone out instantly. But then you have to sit and reload the gun.
Yep,
Also has
making
zero
it balanced.
range to it, so you can't
making
like,
it
open a fight
balanced
with a big shotgun tag and then kind of try to get
Reishub
into the
agree
box
with me
and
on this.
play
It's
how
balanced.
the majority
It's
of
good
fights
if used
end up actually
right.
playing out. You just have
It's
to
a
kind of
niche
hope
weapon.
that you get into their box and then hit
Or
both of the shots.
skillfully
If
get
you don't hit
yourself
both the
close to
shots,
them
then you're kinda left
strategically.
in the mud as well. Double barrel shotgun straight down into the F tier. Again, shout out to the exotic version back in chapter 2 season, I want to say 7? Chapter 2 season 5. My memory's awful. There we go. This was incredibly busted, as every time you shot this, it just gave you kind of propulsion that fired you backwards.
I respectfully disagree. I love niche weapons. Dragon's Breath and double barrel shotgun. Yes, they're in most scenarios, but that's why they're balanced. If you use them properly, aka Poach in the OG days, or Wavy Jacob during Dragon's Breath, or me during Dragon's Breath, it's really fucking good, okay? You just have to use them properly. You can't try and use them like a regular pump. They have their strengths, they have their weaknesses, but that's why they're fun. They like add a little bit of flavor in there where you like fight someone like, oh, this motherfucker's a double barrel, and you got to play differently. I love that.
I remember Cammy using this a lot in the solo cash clubs until it got removed. But again, we're not including exotics on this list because they clearly just be super broken and amazingly good. Next, we have the combat shotgun. Now,
this is so tough
honestly
depending on
used to
when
hate
in
the
the
shotgun
history.
with a burning passion. How many times have I said that in this video already? I mean, twice, but that is far too many already. Back in Chapter 1, Season X, when this was released, this was one of the most broken weapons Fortnite has ever added. The meta was combat shotgun, pump, and tactical
you could hit
shotgun,
120 with
Who cares?
it?
The tactical isn't even relevant to this conversation. If you had a pump and you were going against a player who was good and had the combat shotgun, they could just deal so much damage to you at range before you really even had a chance. You couldn't use your pump to damage them because you probably deal like a 20 or 30,
and
whereas
this
they're
lack
dealing
of
80
pellet
damage to you
spread,
at that range.
136
If you had an
again?
assault rifle
Oh
or an
my
SMG, you were not out damaging someone with a combat shotgun. However, it was since nerfed and then buffed a little bit again.
Wow.
Where in the current season, Chapter 5,
it did
Season
reward
3,
consistent aim though, because it's very
really
tight.
good, and I feel like it is actually a good balance. It's weak if you're up in box because it's so difficult to hit shots, but at that medium to long range, it does a really good job of dealing considerable damage to the point where you get punished for making poor rotations by guys just holding you with a combat shotgun. For that, in my eyes, a weapon that I used to hate, where I would used to put down in F, I'm actually going to put the current combat shotgun up in S tier.
S is a bit bold. I would give it like a B or an A.
Here, I meant to say B. I have no idea why I said S. Next is the drum shot.
Okay. All right. Me and Reese are back to eye to eye here again. I was like, S is a bit bold. I was like, wow, that was a bit left field. Okay. We're back to, it's Reese clearly doesn't agree with my take on fucking like niche weapons. That's the only thing we seem to disagree on.
Gun. All right, we got a bit of an all-timer here.
Wait, did we just miss a whole shotgun? I'm sorry. Did I talk for 3 seconds? We missed a whole shotgun?
Of course. Edit and Reese here. I meant to say B. I have no idea why I said S. Next is the drum shotgun. All right, we got a bit of an all-timer here. The charge shotgun, first introduced in Chapter 2, Season 3.
This has got to be an A.
This thing was
has to be at least an A.
Interesting. If you weren't playing whenever it has been in the season, essentially all you need to do is hold down the charge, and it will essentially gain damage the longer you hold it until a max. Now, this at the time was actually the first season that removed the pump, so I feel like the charge shotgun got a lot of hatred when it first came out because the meta wasn't very good. It's kind of clunky to use because you don't have that initial like tap fire that you can with a pump shotgun. You can't deal immediately. There is a bit of delay.
It's better be an A or an S.
It deals massive damage.
I'll take nothing less than an A for this.
And it's an incredibly skillful weapon to use, in particular when it comes to team modes.
I think it's an
now,
S.
I've always loved metas which have had both the charge shotgun and the pump. I think they've been some of the best. So for me, I'm going to put the charge shotgun up into the S
we're back.
tier.
We're back, baby.
Next
we're back.
We have the Dragon's Breath. Now, a lot of people really like this shotgun. It's essentially a much better version of the double barrel shotgun that I put straight down into F tier before.
Better?
It does massive body shot damage in Epic, doing 158, and in Gold doing 165 in a single shot, which is incredibly busted. Plus, if you're not playing in competitive modes, it drops fire all around you, which again, this is not in tournament because fire is not enabled in tournaments because it creates horrific lag. So you didn't necessarily have that effect when playing.
Oh my god! Wait, we need you scented for this clip, surely.
Coming out of the shotgun.
Scented was
but
the
of course,
goat
it does have the drawback of only having a single bullet in the chamber, whatever the word is for that. So you have to reload.
Me rap.
after every single one, and it obviously has the
Come on,
downsides
at least
of the
A.
double barrel.
Please,
at
at least
the same
A.
time. To me, a lot of people love this item and would probably put it in A-B tier. I think this is going to be a B tier shotgun for me personally, because I'm not a huge fan of things that are just kind of
Okay, it's him personally. I like the fact he's saying him personally. He's allowing that it could be A, but him personally, because Reese wasn't as good as me, is putting it in B. I'll take that. I'll take that. If he had my level of skill and game knowledge, he would have put it in A, which is fine. I can accept that. This gun was crazy. But if you ever saw in the hands of someone good, I probably should have said center when I said Wavy Jacob earlier. Centered on low ground with this gun was disgusting. And I truly think, am I going to say this? I think at the point of the Dragon's Breath in the game when Centered used it, he might have had the best aim in the entire world, like unarguably. Centered made this gun work when no one else could because he had to hit every single pellet every single time. If you hit every pellet, it never created fire, which is the main reason why no one used it. Where Centered's aim with it was so good that he would hit every pellet and they would never catch their tarps on fire low ground, and they were just disgusting.
Like this, but you know, there were a lot of teams who were using it when it was in the meta for one single season in Chapter 2, Season 5.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Oh my goodness.
Dog
this thing is some trash.
Yes.
Okay? Just
so I'm sorry, Nick A30.
This is one of the worst shotguns Fortnite has ever put into the game. Double
D,
barrel,
maybe
okay,
D.
Horrific. That's an immediate
Yes, of
F
course
tier.
it's Nick using
the
it. Nick
lever
loved
action
it.
shotgun. This is the tickle monster
Nick
right here.
loved
This
it.
is doing nothing.
I hated it
I
so
don't even know if
much.
it's possible to hit a max damage shot with this. I think the only person off the top of my head who likes this is Nick A30. Love my boy Nick
Me and
A30.
Reese, we're back, chat. Me and Reese, we're back.
On his icon skin. But this gun is some trash. This
Yes.
thing is awful. The huge reticule means it's really difficult to hit a max damage shot, even if you're like right up in their face. Now, it does have one or two things going for it here, which is the faster fire rate and the fast pull-out time. So you can be quick with it.
You can be
edit
quick
plays
with
and
it, but then you
shoot
hit for
them,
30s,
You're
so-
hitting for 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
It basically creates a lot of unnecessary editing and mechanical plays that you have to do in order to use this shotgun effectively. And you have to be right up in their face. Now, if
Agreed.
the meta only had lever
Okay, you
shotguns,
just hit 129.
for example, in Chapter 2, Season 5,
And
when
a
it was
124.
introduced,
Wait a
which
second,
was the
maybe
one
we just suck
mentioned
at Nick's the
earlier, which
truth.
was the season which had no pumps, if I could be right. Either way, I think the meta that had charge, lever, and the fire shotgun we just talked about, which I've forgotten already. So without pumps, the lever action kind of fit into the meta. But it returned in Chapter 3 or 4. I can't remember in particular which season. And it was awful. This thing was truly horrific in the season it returned. And anytime you found it on the floor, it was just a waste of time. Get this out of here. F tier shotgun.
Okay, me and
I feel
Reese are looking
everything
real
in
good
my
now.
list here is just going S or F. Makeshift. Now, this is an interesting shotgun. There was actually a few people who had decided in the season that was in, which is Chapter 2, Season 6, to just run this by itself. It
What?
was fast. It had a good reload time. It actually dealt good.
Who chose not to upgrade this and run it as it was rather than turning it into a pump? Who? I don't know a single person. I'm calling bullshit. Okay, pre-nerf, absolute dog shit F. Sorry, pre-buff, dog shit F. Buff, it actually kind of fell in around a C tier. C to B. It was actually pretty balanced and pretty decent if you found it on spawn and the enemy wasn't like super crazy. There's no way Benji chose to not upgrade this instead of upgrading it to a pump. I refuse to believe it. There's no way he could have found mechanical parts and was like, nah, I want the makeshift over a pump. No.
Damage if you hit a good headshot because it's such a small reticule. Now, obviously, the gimmick in this season was that you could upgrade it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of growing up rarities, but to be honest, a lot of the times back then, you just end up with something super broken. This shotgun was pretty good at the time, but we're just going to put it into C tier.
B or
Very
C,
well
I'll give it,
balanced,
yeah.
but I definitely wouldn't want to see this return again. Speaking of Chapter 2, Season 6, the Primal shotgun. This has got to go down as maybe the most broken shotgun added. Now,
I
at
would
this
agree.
time, I was still playing controller, and I probably put this in like
Oh
10
my
different
God.
videos. But at that moment, you could just run into anyone's box.
Wow.
And the way it worked was it was an auto shotgun, but it shot two shots, like doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Making some dance tune here or something like that.
It's
But
doof,
each of those single shots would do like 50. So you could just do 200 damage like that, no problem
Yeah.
at all. It was an absolute monster, and I think that's probably some of the best, I was going to say probably some of the highest frags I've ever gotten in tournaments was just running this thing because it was insanely busted on controller. Put that into F tier.
Okay.
An auto shotgun. Now,
I'm loving this list
auto
so far
shotgun
for the
in my
most
eyes
part.
is
Oh,
basically,
what?
I mean, it's not.
Yo, I forgot this existed. Wait, let me try and remember what this was really quickly. This was when SMGs were so broken no one ran them, right? Like, it was okay. Sometimes, like, you'd pick it up sometimes and you'd be like, damn, this shit's crazy. And you start getting some confidence. And then the next game you'd use it and it'd hit for 20 and and you just fucking die and you drop it again. Was that my experience? I mean, is that your guys' experience? That was my experience. I think it was C. Maybe D.
It's just a buff tactical shotgun.
Buff
it has the
tac
exact
shotgun?
same fire rate, which is 1.5.
Maybe I just suck.
It has a little bit higher damage, but for some reason at the time, it still felt very weak when it was in the meta.
I think because the SMGs.
And that was essentially just because the pull-out time was so slow.
Oh,
now, in my eyes,
I didn't remember having a slow pull-out
damage
time
in terms of structure damage. So you can do that
Oh,
same
no, it
strategy.
did have
where
a
you just
slow
stand
pull-out
on someone's
time.
wall and just shoot, reload, shoot, reload. It was a bit more of a balanced version.
It's a
but
worse
the
tac
slower
shotgun.
pull-out time is always something I really despise in these guns. So I'm going to put
D.
this into B tier.
B. I'll give it a-
striker pump
give it a
shotgun.
C.
This is what Epic just decided to.
S. Chat, what are we thinking? S? I'm going with S. Striker shotgun was so fucking good, so balanced. This has to be the most balanced shotgun like ever, I swear. It was strong, it was fun, it was powerful, but it was balanced. If you sucked, you didn't hit that hard. This has got to be an S.
Start replacing the pump with guns that are also called pump, but make them slightly different. For I don't know why reasons. Now, the thing I really don't like about the striker pump is actually the fire rate. Now, on release, it was 0.6. Now, this means absolutely nothing to you, but for reference, the shotgun and the normal pump shotgun, is 0.7. So the higher, the faster. So essentially, the striker pump shoots a little bit slower than the pump shotgun.
Does that matter?
Now, they buffed this
feel like you
to
just swapped.
0.65 rather than 0.7. But it was still slightly slower than the pump. And the problem with this is that this created some really awkward muscle memory.
Yeah.
Where you think you were able to shoot it, but you would try to shoot.
Okay,
and
I
you
do
would
remember
fail.
that a little
now,
bit.
You could say that's a skill issue, and that's probably because it is an absolute skill issue. But it was just annoying and something
why
that I
not
didn't
just
quite
make it the
like about
same
this weapon.
speed? Yeah.
It did a high amount of body shot damage. So 126 body shot is really, really strong with a gold. So what this meant was it kind of flipped where you were dealing really small amounts of damage in Chapter 3, Season 1, the season before. And now when you took this, every
100
single
to the
shot you were shooting
toes?
with this is like 100, maybe 110. Obviously depends on the variant you have. But it's really hard to hit a minimum damage shot. You either hit a big shot or completely nothing with it. Outside of that, it has good range. I think it was nicely balanced.
Maybe A. Reese is kind of making me think I misremembered this.
So for me, I'm going to put this into B tier because it does get a little bit frustrating just continually.
I'll give it an
getting
A after
thumped
what
over
he
and
said
over and over
now.
again. In Chapter 3, Season 3, Chapter 3, Season 2, we also saw the addition of the Ranger shot.
I like this. This was the best version of a single shot long range shotgun they ever added. They tried so many different versions. This one made sense. If you used it right, it was really good. If you missed, it was bad. I liked this. This is like an A or a B at least.
Shotgun. This was just kind of, in my eyes, a little bit gimmicky. Now, the Ranger shotgun has a single shot in the clip, similar to like the fire shotgun. I keep forgetting the name of that we talked about earlier, where every time you shoot it,
I like gimmicks, apparently. I like some niche weapons. I don't want it to be all the same. I like the variety. I want it to be a little bit different, you know? I like gimmicks, apparently. Sue me. I like a niche weapon that not everyone's running, but if you run it and use it well, it's good.
To reload after it. And the point of this was yet again another long-range shotgun rather than a close in-range box. But another issue
rocking this skin is such a throwback.
is the fact that shotgun delay exists. So you can't really use this.
Look at these builds. Look at these mechs.
If you miss, it's just over. And then you have to try and spray someone
the SMG clip in.
So it's very, very risky to take. The ability to hit people at range is great. That's not the goal of most players when they carry a shotgun. It's for wall-to-wall inbox action. So I would put this down into F tier. However, for zero build players, I imagine the Ranger shotgun might be quite good as a swap weapon.
F's a bit much.
Come on. To D tier, which is still
I'm gonna hold a firm disagree. There's no way if he's putting it in D because of no builds. There's no way it's on the same level as drum shotguns and primal shotguns, bro. It's at least a C. Like, I want it to be like A, B, but you have to at least give it a C. Even with your own reasoning, you have to give it a C. Come on. Like, it has its uses.
The two-shot shotgun. Now, the two-shot shotgun is incredibly good, but also at the same time incredibly frustrating to use. Now, this works like a burst, so I don't know why Epic seem to love burst weapons in this chapter, and they seem to be trying to implement burst weapons a lot, but a burst shotgun is just kind of strange. Now, similar to the Primal, this shoots two shots, one directly after each other.
You can shoot through the walls, phase shots in, which is weird.
So essentially, you get 4 bursts before you need to reload. So for each individual shot, it didn't actually do that much damage. So a lot of the times what you find players do is try to shoot this at people, but they would just kind of either maybe hit one bullet and then miss the second, or they would just try and like put up an edit or try and build in front of it. And it was very, very frequent where you'd only hit a single one of the shots. However, I will mention at the time, this was incredibly strong if used correctly, or try and build in front of it. And it was very, very frequent where you'd only hit a single one of the shots. However, I will mention at the time,
hit one shot.
This was incredibly strong if used correctly in close proximity. You could really deal some incredible damage with it. But again, it's a little bit clunky. So for me, I think I'm going to put the 2-shot into B tier.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that shotgun, honestly.
Another variation of the pump that
Man, we really got Reload Simulator for a while there, didn't we? Prime Shotgun was literally Reload Simulator. It would do more damage if fully reloaded. This was such a clunky, boring kind of weapon to use. Oh, but it was also balanced. For me to use it, I'm giving it like a B. It hit pretty hard, but I kind of got over having to always reload in between my shots. But I think for balance-wise, it is probably closer to an A. It was a pretty balanced weapon.
That was just kind of gimmicky, which was the Prime Shotgun. Now, there's a lot of people I've seen on Twitter over the years ask the Prime Shotgun to return. And
really?
It was interesting because I'm not a particular fan of gimmicky weapons for the most part. Now, if you don't remember, the Prime Shotgun dealt significantly more damage with the first shot in the clip rather than the other 3 shots. Yeah. So it had 4 shots total in the magazine. So this meant that you were really rewarded for shooting a shot, reloading,
or
shooting
switching weapon
shot at the player in that way. And if you got into a box and you'd used a single bullet and then you had to switch back to the shotgun, it meant that those subsequent shots were going to do significantly less damage. Now, to me, a lot of people felt this was really well balanced because the actual damage parameters that it was doing were really good. However, as I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of continually having to reload shotguns over and over and over again.
Yeah, it kind of slows down the fights.
An unnecessary mechanic to have in the game. Despite that, a lot of people feel it's very balanced.
It was balanced,
I do as well. So I'm going to put it into the A tier. EvoChrome, my god.
EvoChrome
shotgun. Now, I really appreciate what Epic were trying to do with the EvoChrome shotgun. However, it felt like the shotgun just never did any damage. Yeah. And there was the upgrading effect of it too, which meant that as you shoot more players, it up damages and increases more.
I gotta give this like a C or a D, especially if we're going off gimmicks. It was gimmicks, but not fun gimmicks. Yeah, damaging to upgrade is kind of a cool concept. Like, it rewards aggression. I honestly am not a huge hater of that. But the horizontal pellet spread, I just could not get my head around. It was just so confusing with horizontal pellet spread. I don't know. Wasn't a big fan. I'm going to give this like a D.
And more over time. Now, the mechanic was kind of just
look at the crosshair. Look at it.
What am I looking at here is that players just continually shoot at NPCs, which did end up getting removed from comp, so they didn't actually.
Oh yeah, you could farm the EvoChrome on NPCs.
It was just kind of silly just to upgrade based on the amount of damage you've dealt with it. Again, the Prime Shotgun was in this season, and it really overshadowed this. So for me, EvoChrome Shotgun, I'm just putting that straight into F tier. It was very powerful, but I just don't like it, and I don't think don't think it works well in Fortnite. Let's be real. Get out of there.
I think D, but also I don't know. The fact that Reis doesn't like the idea of upgrading mechanics with damage, I don't hate that. That's like Apex was like that. Like, I liked it in Apex. So Fortnite competitively has Storm Surge to make you have a negative for not dealing damage, right? If you don't play aggressive enough, you're avoiding a negative. I like Apex's system of, to play more aggressive, you're not trying to avoid a negative, you're trying to gain a positive. In Apex, the more damage you deal, your shield gets stronger. You get a better armor going into endgame. So if you play like a and then you have to 1v1 someone at the end who's got full armor, you get destroyed. Where I feel like I like damage upgrading your weapon because it's a reward for playing aggressive, not just avoiding a negative. I don't know. I think they messed it up a bit because the shotgun was kind of shit and the AR was just absurdly broken. The EvoChrome AR was so dumb, but the mechanic of upgrading, I'm okay with it.
We have the Thunder Pump Shotgun. Is it called Thunder Pump or is it called Thunder Shotgun?
Thunder was so good. This is
it's called Thunder Pump, but it's here. It's just called Thunder Shotgun.
Crazy range on it.
One of those other replications of the pump where they really could have just in this season not added the shotgun altogether and just instead put the main pump in. But the main difference here really was the fact that similar to some of the other shotguns, it had 4 shots in the shell. It
had so much range.
It actually had 8, but it used 2 shotgun shells every time you shot. Now, this was really
3 shots on release,
because on release it only had 6, aka 3 shots. So you had to continually reload the Thunder Shotgun, and it is not a fast reloading shotgun either. So by increasing that up to 4 shotgun shots total within one magazine,
I thought it was a balanced shotgun though.
Better. However, again, it's basically just
going to mention the range on it?
Pump, a little bit faster fire rate, but with more frustrating still having to reload it over and over again. So I'm going to put it into A tier. And that's
I think one thing you've neglected to mention there is easy to forget about. The one thing it did very different from the shotgun was the range. And during the hammer season where people kept running, being able to like hammer pump someone running away and getting constant 50 tags, I was actually a fan of. Like, if they brought the regular shotgun back instead of this one, I wouldn't have liked it. But I kind of like the way that, especially for the season it was in, the meta it was in, it was good to kind of just keep like whittling people down who are running from you.
Same season, we also had the Maven auto shotgun. Now this is again similar to the Thunder Pump, just a replication of the tactical shotgun, but slightly different and skin different. I still don't know why Epic decided just to continually put these random new guns in.
I thought the tac was
exactly the same as the Chapter 1 weapons, but name them something different.
I think it was weaker.
Anyway, that's for another time. The difference here was that the Maven shotgun actually dealt a considerable amount more damage, in particular to headshots. So the blue, for example, did
Am I misremembering this? I swear this, like, which tack are we, the problem with this video is which tack are we talking about? Original tack or nerf tack? Because I swear the Maven did consistently less damage than the tack. I remember much preferring the tack than the Maven. Maybe I was just less mechanical back then. I don't know. I swear it was shit.
85 body in comparison to the 80 of the tactical, and 148 headshot max in comparison to 120 of the tack. It does have a slightly slower fire rate, but it's not necessarily noticeable. So to me, out of all of the auto shotguns that we've covered so far, this is definitely the most balanced in my eyes, and I think we're going to put this straight into the S tier. Now, of course, there was also the...
What? Yo, if you told me Maven was going to be in Reese's S tier shotguns, I would have laughed at you. That one's a left field. Are we going to get another edit here saying we accidentally did that?
Exotic.
I don't think we are. Okay, never mind. That one I'm questioning, but...
version of this, which was the heisted accelerant shotgun. But this essentially, as you hit targets, the fire rate increased. So if you were just spamming at players in endgame, or if you're playing zero build, this gun was so frustrating to fight against. Hopefully this gun never comes back. Next season, in Chapter 4, Season 2, we did have the Havoc
shotgun, man. It's got to... so good, but it wasn't balanced though, chat. Like, let's think about it. I know we all loved hit and edit. Like, I was edit one pump 200 people this season, which says a lot, okay? Was it balanced though? It was so easy to hit 200s with this. Like, too easy. Like, how many times did you get bailed out by a shit can because they hit 200? I don't know if this should be an S, chat. When you're using it, S. When someone else uses it though, which is what you have to remember. I love this shotgun because it hit hard, but you also got bailed out a lot this season. I don't know if you guys are remembering it. I'm going to probably still give it an A though, because it is so fun to use, but it was so easy to hit 200s with this shotgun.
Pump
or really
shotgun.
high damage.
Now the Havoc pump was one of my least favorite pump shotguns, I think I'm going to say out here.
Wow.
This was kind of similar to the striker pump in a way that it was really easy to hit massive damage shots with it.
Fair.
So if the blue, for example, a max damage body shot is around 120 damage. And this season, if you played it, you were basically continually getting chunked for massive body shot damage if they don't even hit your head. And of course, if they hit your head, there's even more damage than that as well. It felt a little bit too easy to hit this big damage shot. And it's interesting because despite here, the equip animation is 1 second, the same as the pump shotgun. But I swear this gun feels incredibly slow when you pull it out. Maybe it's just because I'm used to faster pulling out shotguns, which I'll come to later. The Havoc pump feels so horrific to use, and it's so easy to hit max big damage shots. So that for me, I didn't think it was particularly balanced. Now, all of these shotguns were capped at under 200 damage, what they could do to headshots. There was a mythic version which was capped at 210 damage. So you can actually do one pumps with the mythic version, which is really fun, and still some creative maps have it in. But again, too much body shot damage. It feels a little bit clunky, but I'm going to put it in A tier because it's still a pretty good shotgun. Yo,
Reese, we're going off the fucking rails here. We just shit talked this shotgun for 3 minutes and put an A tier. What's happening now? Now I'm confused because I agree with the assessment. Like, I agree with the ranking. What is happening? What is going on? What are we doing? I agree. It should be A tier, but I swear we just made it sound like a D tier gun and then put it in A tier. Maybe the pull-out time? I don't know. Either way. Okay. We'll continue.
We're coming on to what I will consider the laziest item in Fortnite history.
Whoa.
The sharp tooth shotgun. Now, the sharp tooth shotgun.
I forgot this existed.
Item, and you go, well, is that not just a pump shotgun?
Is that not just a pump?
You would think it would be a pump shotgun. Was this a social experiment now that I'm looking back at it? Like, this must have been a social experiment. Because this is just a pump shotgun. Why have they just named this the sharp tooth shotgun and given it completely different mechanics? Is this like a nostalgia game? They're mind games. This was essentially another version of the long range shotgun. So it doesn't do as much max damage as the max of the gold ended up being around 165.
Why is that hitting for 22? And why was the one before hitting for 77? Like, what? Why is it...
However, it's significantly longer range. Now, this was really good for endgames, as you could do a lot of damage at that kind of mid-range. This was in the same season as the sharp tooth shotgun that we just talked about, but we didn't really see that many players use it. Plus, this is lazy as hell. Get out here, Epic. This is going down into the C tier.
D. I'd give it even a D.
Season 4, they added the Infiltrator pump shotgun.
The fuck is this? Why is this? Why do I like know that this was a recent gun, but I can't tell you what it does or how much damage it does? Why do I have no recollection of this gun? Is it just straight dog shit? Is that why? Do I just never remember using this?
Now, I do not respect this shotgun, as many minimums have been hit with this. Now, the goal of this shotgun was to be somewhere between a pump and a tactical shotgun.
Oh.
So somewhere between that gun that hits max damage and between that automatic shotgun that deals lots of damage repeatedly. But instead, it sat in the middle and did neither of those
neither
well.
of them.
It was a jack of all trades, but it was just horrible at all of those things.
Yeah.
The fact that it's named a pump shotgun is insulting to the other 15 pump shotguns that have been in Fortnite. This was added in Chapter 4, Season 4, and then just removed in OG. No changes. Never seemed to see the light of day again. I'm kind of happy it hasn't. It can stay in the vault for now, because this is a certifiable F tier shotgun.
Did he speed up the animation then, or did it look that shit?
Pump shotgun is insulting to the
I want to see that animation
15
again.
pump shotguns that have been in Fortnite. This is added
Look
in
at
Chapter
that.
4, Season 4, and then just
Did it
removed
always
in
look
OG.
that shit? Why is it so like why is it doing so much? I don't understand. Was it always that overdone on the animation too? It even looked like shit. The fuck was that?
Changes. Never seemed to see the light of day again. I'm kind of happy it hasn't. It can stay in the vault for now, because this is a certifiable F tier shotgun. This season, we also had the wood stake shotgun. Now, this is basically just a reskinned version.
How are there so many new shotguns and I've forgotten about all of them? Like, you know what I mean? We have had a lot of shotguns, but any of the early ones, I knew all of them. I instantly recognized and was like, yes. Why are there so many new shotguns I've forgotten about that have been in the game much more recently? They're just, again, maybe I'm agreeing with Reese here. Some of these are way too gimmicky. This was dumb as fuck. This was absolute F tier. No clue what they were cooking up with this.
Of the heavy shotgun that we saw earlier, where it shoots a single pellet. I don't know, it was just rubbish. Get into F tier. But at the turn of the tide, Chapter 5, we saw a new light. Epic Games decided to do something totally different, something revolutionary. They decided to make another pump shotgun and call it the pump shotgun. Now, a lot of people, interestingly, dislike this shotgun. But it's interesting because it's pretty much exactly the same stats as the pump shotgun, but with slightly different damages. Now, the blue, for example, hits a max 94 damage in comparison to 110 with a pump shotgun, both the bodies, that is. But the headshots are relatively the same. So it's interesting that a lot of people don't like the hammer pump, because it is actually probably a more balanced version of the pump shotgun. It also has a smaller crosshair, so it's a little bit easier to hit max damage shots than it is to hit pump shotgun, but it's not too small.
I haven't noticed that.
You'll find yourself continually hitting maxes. I actually think the hammer pump shotgun is probably the most skillful pump shotgun in the game, but you know, there's something about me that just still loves a pump. I'm going to put this into A tier because the general consensus of it is not really that good across the entire community. However, I think it's probably the most balanced shotgun. If I want pumps, then I want to be hitting 200, so let's be real. Get that shit over here. Chapter 5 also introduced the Frenzy Auto Shotgun. This had a significantly higher DPS. I think actually the highest of any shotgun ever added to the game. However, it was still not my favorite version of an automatic shotgun at all, and I still prefer the tactical or the Maven, really, any other shotgun over this. So I'm going to put this down into D tier because I just think it's a very unskillful weapon. I know a lot of controller players will be very unhappy about this because they loved this shotgun.
But they knew it was unskillful too. They just liked
using
it.
Chapter 5, Season 2, Gatekeeper shotgun. Now, this is going to be a controversial one, but the Gatekeeper shotgun is probably one of the most unbalanced guns that Fortnite has ever seen.
Whoa, most unbalanced guns ever. That's a bold take. I'm going to need some good defense on this. I'm giving him a chance, but I'm going to need some really solid defense.
This is the easiest shotgun ever to get elims with. If you're in a box...
Peterbot carried by shotgun confirmed. Dog shit, says Reese. Cheat up, still... Really?
And you have 3 shots reloaded into it, it's incredibly difficult to not 3-tack someone. And of course, it's strong enough where if you hit 2 good shots, you can just 2-tack someone or 2-shot someone with it and instantly wipe them out of the game. Now, it only has 3 bullets within the magazine, which does nerf it significantly.
It's a bit clunky.
However, it kind of just creates stupid gameplay where it's way too easy to deal a lot of damage. So despite this being one of the best shotguns Fortnite's ever added for damage, I'm going to put this down to the C tier because I believe this is incredibly unbalanced. But it's...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can give that. Yeah, I don't know if I fully agree, but like enough. I can get where he's coming from.
Allowed me to get some kills this season at least. Not many though. Now our S tier shotguns create the perfect meta in my opinion. Your standard pump shotgun for big damage and just everyone was a pump, let's be real. The charge for slightly slower,
agreed, and Maven,
longer range,
and then
harder
a Maven
hitting
for
damage,
fast shooting.
the Maven because you kind of have to have an auto shotgun in the meta because it's a favorite of a lot of the non-competitive players. Now, which out of our F tier shotguns is the worst?
Okay, so he's not. Okay, I didn't know if he was gonna keep talking. those 3 shotguns, perfect. You need to add just one gimmicky gun in. I'm sorry, but like one Dragon's Breath, one double barrel, just something that like is only used by like 5% of the player base, but in those moments, if used right, has its niche. That's all I want. I fully agree with his top 3 pick. You can even make the drop rate really low on them so they don't clog the loot pool, but it's just having one, like a 4th shotgun that just functions completely differently, that has a kind of a bit of a gimmick to it, but not too much, is so fun. I genuinely think it's so good for the game because you can catch someone off guard. You can outplay them. If you make them play in your benefit, you do well with it. Like just like a Ranger shotgun, a Dragon's Breath, or a double barrel, just something like that. That's all I want. And then I fully agree.
Eyes. Well, I'm giving that crown to the lever action shotgun.
The lever's the worst shotgun ever.
Have some sort of viability in their niche. The lever is just bested by every single other pump style shotgun, and it has the worst accuracy ever to match. It's always frustrating to use, and I want to never see it again in Fortnite. And the fact that it's in reload is very frustrating. If you enjoy these tier list videos, you should click this video on the screen right now to see why this is Fortnite's most overrated edit and which ones you should actually choose.